Hi, beautiful people. So today I'm going to talk to you about emotional intelligence, the importance of it, and make a case for our emotions are our internal guidance system. Just with a brief story, I'll start. When I was in chronic pain about 5 years ago, this was an episode of chronic pain that I had flare up, which totally, got to the point where I had to change things in my life, which I have discussed in my previous video about my healing journey. The point is that I was completely overwhelmed with my emotions and I had no emotional intelligence whatsoever, or at least I had no soothing tools or regulating tools. I felt a lot of emotions, but some people don't even feel that. So people come to me, my clients come to me and say, but I don't feel angry or I don't have anger. And then they go through this journey and they realize, wow, I have lots of anger inside of me now. So it starts to come out when you accept and allow and feel that part of you is able to express itself. Otherwise, it's just pressed in, right? So I'm making my journey from feeling totally overwhelmed with my emotions and totally in despair and broken, and I was a mess and a completely, they were just overtaking me sometimes with rage coming out towards my partner or my child or family member, excuse me, or whatever. And so I then had all the guilt and shame, and I'm a bad person. And this created so much internal pressure and in so much internal disease. No wonder I had all sorts of chronic pains and diagnoses such as fibromyalgia and various others. So I got to the point where I could then started to realize that these emotions are telling me something. And this internal guidance system is what I want to kind of share with you today, because it's so important to understand that the emotions are telling us that our perception of reality is wrong, right? So we talked about the three core false beliefs from the ego yesterday, that I'm lacking or something's wrong with me, or I'm not enough, or I'm not whole, I'm not complete. The I need to be, to get, to have, do something, which is the outcome dependence, right? So it's a trap. You need to, and then the third one is I'm in control of my life, which again, I talked about the whole and the big mind versus the small mind, and this interaction that we can start to realize that we're not just, we're a wave in the ocean, right? So it's really vital to kind of start to bring this safety feeling to our body, right? Ultimately, these false beliefs create a certain uh, three core emotions, which I'm going to be going into. So that is the three core emotions are sadness, anger, and fear. And they obviously have the derivatives, and you have the combination of a cocktail of a few. But if you can start to identify the sadness in your body, or the fear, or the anger in your body, and relate that back to the false beliefs that we had, the initial belief, the illusion that we're separate, basically, then you can start to correct the wrong perception or the wrong thinking, right? The incorrect, let's say, reality, right? That we are whole, we're having a human experience, but we're actually spirits of light and energy, right? So emotions are showing, so they're the internal guidance system. What I mean by that is that they're literally showing us that our thinking, feeling, embodied state of mind is perceiving at a low level of consciousness. It's a feedback system, right? So it's telling us that we're in our bodies, we're thinking and feeling a certain way. We're thinking and feeling in a kind of disconnected way, right? So, and that those feelings can help us create a trust in our body, because now it's actually the trust, part is that it's leading us back to connection, right? To self, essence self, not ego self, essence self, and the bigger whole, right? The whole, the oneness. So the three feelings, the three emotions are anger, sadness, and fear. Okay. And we're either in, I think I've told you, I've spoken about this before, we're either in a fight, flight, freeze response, which is the low vibrational emotions, the anger, fear, and sadness, right? Or we're feeling love, gratitude, peace. And so those two states of our body, we can actually start to identify where, and so I said it in the other video, another video, that if one were having these states of emotions, the negative emotions are literally creating fight, flight, freeze response in our body. So, that's creating all the, release of chemicals and hormones in our body that's, getting us ready for action, for a fight, okay, or for running or for freezing, right? So, or the other way around, with the other side, which is the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest, digest, and rejuvenate. And so we can start to heal, realizing which one of those two we're in, right? So how does the core false beliefs and the core emotions, relate to each other? So when you're feeling sadness, so remember, it's a feedback system. So when we're feeling sadness in our body, and again, I'll go into more detail about this in my live. The sadness in our body is a cue, is like a feedback saying we're thinking and feeling in lack. It's the connected to the false belief number one, which is that we're in lack in some way, right? There's lack of connection, lack of love, lack of a soulmate, lack of relationship or friends or whatever it is, or lack of health, right? Lack. So sadness is created in our body to signal to us that they were feeling in lack, right? And so that's the first part. The next one is core emotion is anger. And anger arises in us when we are feeling that we don't get what we want, basically, when we don't get what we want. So, or there's been a boundary crossed, but the boundary is something that we wanted or didn't want, right? So it's specific to the goal or outcome. And so we are basically outcome dependent at that moment. So this is the false belief that, we have to get this thing for us to be happy, or for us to be in peace. And so anger, can start to really direct you, to show you that. And I have that trigger. I mean, I have this lesson every single day from my daughter. The anger arises in me when she doesn't do something, fast enough, or well enough, or whatever, and I can feel it arising, and so we can start to just let go of that outcome based independent, be independent of that outcome, be peaceful, so it's signaling, the emotions are signaling us for the false belief, right? They're telling us that we're having a false belief about reality. So it's so simple when we start to kind of bring it down to these three levels, right? And then the fear of, the stress, the anxiety, the panic attacks, or the, and what is it? Holding, right? Not being in control. That's connected to the belief of that I have to be in control, or that I am in control of my life. And the fear, of course, is a very strong one in most chronic patients, chronic pain clients that I really, that I'm working with, is, the fear, and it's all an illusion, and it's all, it's real, but it's an illusion, and it's actually signaling us to get back to, connection. Okay. So with these very simple kind of ways, we can actually really get to the point where we're like, integrating these emotions we can start to surrender, realizing that it's a disconnection from our self, the one, and kind of let go of this the two sides, not let go, acknowledge them basically. So feeling is healing, and we need to start to create this sensation in our body that we can actually heal these emotions, by just recorrecting or reevaluating our connection, right? So reconnecting with ourselves. So was there anything else I wanted to say about that? Yes, basically when we get signaled from our body through our emotions, we can start to make choices. And I have some very, very simple, very easy tools that can help you get from those from the overwhelm to the kind of release and choice. Moment of coming back to a point where we can actually make a choice about who we want to be and who we want to, where. Once we've had this kind of waking up moment of, okay, we're perceiving reality wrong, we're perceiving the separation. And so if you liked this webinar and this series of 3 that I did now about emotions, I'm really, really excited to announce that I'm starting to do lives to hopefully bring more awareness about this. So how to go from emotional mess to mastery in 5 easy, fast steps so you can heal your pain. And this is pain, physical, mental, and emotional. It's disease and, illness in the bodies as well. If you know anybody, please, direct them to me. This is going to be 12 p.m. Eastern European time. So that's my time, Athens time, tomorrow. So the main aim of the webinar or the lives are going to be, a sequence of lives that start your journey into the fine art of healing, of how to feel an emotion, basically, and feel them without overwhelm, so that you can be clear and have and not be plagued by them anymore or overwhelmed by them anymore. So check below for the details, and if you like this video, please, thumbs up and hit the ping button or whatever it's called, the subscribe button. And yeah, let's get our emotions soothed, regulated. There are tools and tricks and tips that can really help and have helped me and help my clients every single day. And if we can start to realize that our emotions are our internal guidance system to come back to oneness or wholeness, or connected to self and life in general, and the universe, then isn't that just an amazing system that we have in our body, right? So love you and leave you, and hopefully see you tomorrow in my live. Bye for now.